10 minutes ago, I was standing at the top of a ladder, looking down at cold water. The air today is 4 degrees Celsius, which converts to 39 Fahrenheit, and the temperature feels like -2 Celsius, which is 28 Fahrenheit. And this right here is why I went in anyway. So the question I'm asking you is very simple. Is it worth the discomfort? And I want to answer it very honestly. Before I continue, this channel is about cold plunges and quiet observations of life by the Danish water. If something about cold water brought you here, welcome. A lot of people who try cold plunging do not keep doing it. Not because it is too cold, not because they are weak, because they never get an answer to this question. Is it worth the discomfort? They feel the discomfort, the shock of entry, the breath sizing up, the voice in their head asking what exactly they are doing in freezing water at dawn. And then they get out and they wait for something to happen. Then they may conclude that the discomfort was all there was. And they are not wrong, to be honest. But just did not stay long enough to notice what follows. Not the water, but the hours after the water. So let me ask you again, is it worth it? That is the question. Not is cold plunging good for you? Not what does the science say? Not how do I optimize my cold exposure protocol? The real question here on this video is the one people type into Reddit at night, or the one they ask themselves at the water's edge, is much simpler. Is this specific moment worth the discomfort of going in? And I've read the threads, people who have never tried it, people who have tried it once and did not go back, people who want to believe there is something on the other side but cannot get past the hesitation. They all want the same thing. They want to know if the price of entry is worth what comes after. And let me be honest, I don't have a universal answer, but I can share my experience and tell you what happens next. There is always this moment when reaching the ladder, where I need to take my time and just embrace the fact that I'm going into cold water. Every step is very deliberate. You don't want to rush it either. One foot, then the other, then one more, and then suddenly you're halfway down in the water. And what I'm telling myself is just keep going. Don't think it is cold. Let go of everything. And it's not because I am brave or because I have a very iron discipline, but this is because I want to know what happens after the cold plunge. And that is also one of the reasons that this has ever been enough. When you go into cold water, the first 10 seconds are the biggest negotiation. The breath goes shallow, and every instinct says, get out and leave, go back home. But then something shifts. The noise stops. Not gradually, but kind of suddenly. Everything that was loud in my head, the planning, the reviewing, the small anxieties that run on a loop, it all goes quiet. And then there is only the water. And I'm sending all my energy towards relaxing and making sure I'm one with the element. I can hear the small waves breaking on the beach, the light changing as the sun is climbing higher above the water, and this is what it gives me. Not a breakthrough, not a transformation, not a story I will tell at parties or at lunch break. Just quiet. And for someone whose mind is usually loud, that quiet is worth everything. And now we are back where we started. The tea, the sunrise, the quiet. But something is different. I am not different in a dramatic way, but my body feels present. Every nerve reminded that it exists. The wind does not feel like an argument anymore, it just feels like wind. It's kinda abstract to say, but once you've been into the water and then get out, get dressed, and start to just pause and enjoy the moment, that's what it comes down to. So I sit with my tea and watch that beautiful sunrise. The water sounds are so meditative. I cannot get enough of the water, the sound of it, the way it makes everything fall away. This is the second act of my cold plunge. And the plunge was the entry point. But this, the tea, the sun, the stillness after, this is also the moment I came for. So, is it worth the discomfort? For me, yes, 100%. Not because cold water is magic, not because it fixes everything, and not because you should do it too. But because that moment at the top of the ladder, the hesitation, the doubt, the part of you that wants to stay with the warm tea, that moment teaches you something. You can feel resistance and still move through it. That's pure resilience. Not by fighting, but by noticing it and going anyway. And that is a small thing, but if you really think about it, that's a big step. I did not come here to prove anything today. One of the reasons I also did it was to understand what happens after that hesitation. And now I know. What are your thoughts around that hesitation moment? Do you think it is worth it? Have you tried cold plunging or not? I would really love to hear your thoughts. You're very welcome to leave a comment and I'll make sure to respond to it. By the way, I'm just an ordinary guy who really happens to love the cold and water. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode.